this kind of people pleasing, and you will have yourself convinced in your heart you're giving from your heart, and you're being so generous and so sweet and kind and thoughtful. And yet if you search inside, the actual motivation is you want appreciation, you want recognition.
Welcome, everybody. This is our new episode 10 already. And today we're talking about people pleasing. This was a request from somebody, and therefore we're talking about. This person wanted to know what our insights and how we would deal with it. For that first, we have to talk about what people pleasing is in the way we look at it. And people pleasing is something what a lot of people are doing. I think that there are more women doing it than boys, than men. And people pleasing is it looks like you are giving something, but you are actually asking something. And so you're doing something that can be very nice, that can be from the best place of your heart, but you want to receive something back for it. And most of the times that is a thank you, or you're so sweet, or all those kinds of things. Something like that, you want to have it back. Do you want to add something, Robin?
Yeah. So when we were speaking earlier, we were saying that it's trauma based, this kind of people pleasing, and you will have yourself convinced in your heart you're giving from your heart, and you're being so generous and so sweet and kind and thoughtful. And yet if you search inside, the actual motivation is you want appreciation, you want recognition. So the motivation itself is actually to gain something yourself. And when that doesn't work, you feel crushed. And so there's a difference. So do you want to speak a little bit to how we see it as trauma based?
Yes. So when you look at how it originates, then you have to go back most of the times to your parents. I just speak now about parents, but it doesn't have to be. It depends also where you grow up and who are the most important people in your life when you are little. It is not a big trauma. It is a trauma that comes because the repeatment. The repeatment is that I say your parents only say something nice to you when you are doing something. You haven't heard from your parents that when you are just sitting on the couch doing nothing, that you are a super nice, sweet, and that they love you so much. That's what they forgot. Or when I was young, it was not normal. In the area I was living, it was just not common that you do that to children. So you have to do something to get a response from your parents that you are good, that you are loving, that you are know so much. And so then the compliments are coming. When you are doing nothing and just being you, you haven't got it. People, your parents didn't say how much they love you. So you have learned in a very young age that only by doing you are good enough. And therefore you do still things at this time in the hope you get a response that you are good enough, that you have the right to live here on this earth by doing. And that is, of course, not true. You have the right to live on this earth because you are here. Just because you are born, that is your birthright. And that is the right, that birthright is your right that you are here and that you are perfect. I call it the perfect imperfection. Well, nobody is, of course, perfect in the sense we use the word perfect, but you are, as a being, the way you are born, there, eh, everything is there that you are. So it can grow. You can grow some things, but learning that you don't need anything else than what you are already is the next step, where you can work on. So going back to how it originates, it has everything to do where you grown up and how those most of the time parents reacted on how you could hear that your parents loved you. And most of the parents only expressed it when you were doing something and not by doing nothing and just being you. Robin?
So this is where I would say, um, well then, this is your trauma for your inner child. And then this is where shadow comes. You tuck that away because you learned, I need to earn love, affection, appreciation. Is you need to earn it. And so your parents, your caregivers, or however in your childhood that set that up for your inner child to have that belief, you are the one carrying that forward now. You are the parent to that inner child now. And those inner dialogue in this, you are the one keeping that alive. And so the realization, and what did you say about imperfect and perfect?
In the perfect imperfection is how you are born as the perfect
I love that.
imperfection. And that's your most of the because of how you grown up is that you have the right to be there only by doing. That's how
Right.
you translated it. But
Mhm.
because you are born, you have this birthright to be that perfect imperfection, to be um, um, that gives you all the right to be here with everything you are. That you only need to learn because you are a child and you have to learn your way, but nothing of you have to change. But we change so much because we want to fit in that what we think that our parents or the caregivers give us.
Yeah, we're given the idea we need to fix something. I agree. I agree. And I love that. The way I say is the imperfection is the perfection. It's you. It's the uniqueness of you. And that's, we spend so much time trying to fix what we think isn't fitting into the scenario around us. And we have become that parent that's expecting us to earn. And we put that in place, and then people pleasing becomes a tool that actually keeps that in place, and you end up creating your own lack in several ways, because in one layer you just constantly give, you are never in a position to receive what you're lacking because you're constantly giving. You're giving from an empty cup. So you're not giving, you're asking. And it becomes a very dark little ball of manipulative energy. And you're convinced that you're doing something so well and so kind and so thoughtful, and you're really not allowing the other person their lessons, and you're not allowing yourself to receive what you lack. And in so doing, you're building a bigger form of lack, Clementine.
So I think it's very um, to understand what it is to be a people pleaser is that you really have to look at yourself and look how you are doing it, and uh, see how you give, and if it was unconditional, or are
Mhm.
you waiting for something? And when you don't get anything back, what happens inside? Uh, uh,
I was just going to say they feel very different in your body. They feel very, very different within your body. The physical sensations in your body feel different with those two different kinds of giving.
yeah,
Yeah.
and for me, um, a profession where you where uh, let's I can only speak from this region, of course, but nurses in this area, there are almost only no, that's not true. Female nurses, most of the times are female nurses. It's almost their profession to be people pleasers, and
Hmm.
so they give a lot. They give enormous amount of time. But when that client is not reacting back in the way she would, I said she because it's more female, that she had expected, how mad they can become. And so they become really nasty. So and saying all kinds of words and things, and but that's the act of a people pleaser. And you see also, it's just an example. I don't want to make nurses bad anything, because I think that it's one of the profession we only can say only good words, but it's for me a very good example. But I'm not making nursing bad with it. You see, in these areas, there is a lot of there's less money going towards health, and also, for instance, time where a nurse can use at one client. Everything has to go quick, and so they cannot give that much anymore. But and it's always pressure, and clients, not because the nurses do something wrong, but they don't see them in their needs, because everything has to go quickly. So all those nurses don't receive back anymore for what they have given. And it's a very big problem in nursing, is that there's so many burned out nurses, and that's exactly the reason. It's of course a hard job also, but because their energy didn't flow, because they didn't receive what they hoped they receive. So I hope I make myself clear. So
Well,
it is not you give not unconditionally. It's even not giving. You giving so you can receive. So it is a kind of nasty, but not meant
Right.
nasty, while the giving still comes from the good heart. Robin.
This is touching on what we were talking about with our Eine podcast. This kind of, I'm going to give this so I can get this in return, is a closed ended transaction, and you will never feel fulfilled in that situation.
No, and nobody, and also not the person you give to. Um, they are not free. They have to give you something back. And it's not that you said it, but it's felt. When you give something to get something in return, that is felt, and when it's to a friend or to your lover, those relationships will not go on after a while. When you always need something back, when always for something you want to receive something, that is what Robin just said. It's a closed circuit. It's not a flowing. It's not, and it's also the best thing you can do when you recognize yourself in it is just look at it. Don't make yourself bad. It is a trauma response. It's the way you
Mhm.
learned or you thought you had to act to receive love. Everybody needs love. Everybody wants to receive love, and of course, everybody wants to love in the way they are. And we all have learned, or all, very much of us, especially the elderly, because it was normal. Um, at the time I was young, it was completely normal that you that it was how your parents reacted on you. Just saying "I love you" when you were doing nothing, that was not normal in that time. So when I look at my brothers and sisters, um, I am the worst people pleaser from our family, or I was, and I'm the youngest. So that doesn't mean that every child of one family with the same parents need to be people pleaser. And
Yeah.
I think we talked also about that. Perhaps you want to talk about it, that there are many people pleasers who also are very sensitive.
Yes. I would think that a lot of people who consider themselves empathic, and I'm not going to use the word empath, but empathic, because I think a lot of people think they are empaths when they're just showing some empathic traits. Um, but sensitive people, we can feel what others are feeling around us. When you walk into a room, you can feel the tension, you can feel the joy, you know exactly what you're walking into. Um, those kind of people, I think we tend to be people pleasers. And I think a lot of that is because we want to avoid feeling their feelings. And so we please because it's easier to feel their joy than to set a proper boundary and let them experience their disappointment. And in this trauma scenario where we've been conditioned to earn love and appreciation, well, that's a perfect scenario, is that you sacrifice your own needs and you become that beautiful martyr for the person in front of you to gain whatever it is that you think they're going to gain from the interaction. But in reality, as we've been saying, it's really about you receiving something. And the people who consider themselves empathic, we have issues with setting proper boundaries. But it's the proper boundaries that are self care. All of this wonderful stuff going around the internet about self care. People run out and, Oh, I'm gonna take a bath. I'm gonna go to the spa. I'm gonna go get my nails done. All these out things. The most powerful self-care, or one of the most powerful ways to care for yourself, is to set proper boundaries so that you are not always running on empty.
Yeah, but really looking in what way am I a people pleaser? And so asking you that question, but also being aware that you are doing it and how you are doing it. And also when you, in the beginning, when this is the first time you start working with it, in the beginning you already did it. Uh, when I go back to the sensitive, I wouldn't call it empath or empathic, or I would call it, as I said it, I would call it sensitive, because
Mhm,
you can be hypersensitive, you can be an empath, and you can be a people pleaser. I call them cousins, but that it's not the same. But some people have them all. Some people have only two, some people have only one. And so we're not only talking now about people pleaser, but as sensitive as I am, to give an example, I knew already before my mother knew it herself that she wanted coffee. So I already made her coffee before she knew herself that she wanted coffee. And then I got the best compliments, because she didn't expect it, when she would ask me something or whatever, but then she wouldn't expect it. So then I got the best response, and then I felt myself good about myself. And so, what is it where you are, what you want to receive? Is it a love? Is it that somebody is saying, "Oh, you're so good," or what is it? What is it? Why you are um, um, fishing for? Let me
mhm,
call it. It's a kind of fishing. What you are doing for? What kind of compliment, or is it love, or what? So it's nothing. By nothing become mad about yourself, but um, um, it's learning yourself more. It's learning yourself better. It's learning where it hurts yourself the most, because that is where you're fishing more. eh? And
mhm,
um, um, and so when you are more aware of it, that you are doing this, then the next step is give yourself a second before you start doing. Give yourself, giving yourself that second is making space, in, am I going to do it? And why am I going to do it? Do I want something in return, or is it unconditional? And so you can ask yourself then the questions, is it unconditional, or do I want something in return? And then the most difficult thing is, when you want something in return, don't do it. Just don't do it. And that feels absolutely not in your nature. That feels like you have to break something. And that's true. Something
it
has to
is
break. But it's the habit, it's the pattern that
a
you
pattern.
was in, and you were not aware of the pattern, that has to break. And it is finding the courage by not doing, and only do that what is unconditional. And when you want to go a step further, then you have to ask yourself the question, do I want to do it, or do I not want to do it?
Mhm,
That's the next. So it's not the first. So do it in layers, and it can take weeks, even months, even years to become very good in it. And so give yourself a lot of time, but I'm doing now a little bit quickly. Then the question comes, do I want to do it? Or I don't want to do it? And when I want to do it, do I want to do it unconditionally? And only those when it's a hard yes and when it's unconditionally, then you can do it. All the other ones are no, I'm not gonna do it. But there is one exception for me. Can I still look in the mirror when I say no? There are some things you have to do, what you really don't want to do, but your conscience cannot carry it. I don't know if I said the word conscious right. Um,
Conscience,
I con- say it again, please.
conscience has an
Yeah,
N at
as
the end. Conscience.
conscience. Um,
Yeah.
um, I must be able to look in my own mirror, in my own reflection. And when I said no to something and I know I hurt that person deeply, it's, it depends again on what it is. Is it that person's problem? Yes, I can hurt them, but that's not the way it meant. Is that is theirs then? But I give always. I didn't want to give this example, but I cannot think of another one right now. And when somebody would call me at this very second that my mother um, had her pamper on already the whole day, a dirty pamper, there is nothing in me that would say, yes, I want to do that. Uh, there is nothing, but I still am going to do that because now I know that is that, and I cannot look in the mirror anymore to my own reflection when I would not do it. That are the only exceptions when I feel no, that I don't want to do it, that I'm gonna do it. That are the only things that really should have a burden on me. The problem when you start doing that in the beginning, that your no's are way too rough. So you are feeling so bad and so terrible to say no that you you think you yelled no, but actually you said no. So you leave a door open so people will walk in that. And the next time you really cry no, and people say, "Yeah, why are you yelling at me?" So don't be mad. So um, you have to learn that there are a million different ways to say no, and when your no's become easier, it will you will find the right tone and the right way to say it and the right, but you have to learn to say no, and that's
You can, yes. And no is a full sentence. You can simply say that does not work for me. End of story. You don't have to offer an explanation. You don't have to justify why you're not doing it. And that's really a really good point, because in the beginning I was really defensive with the no's. Like, I have a right to say no. Everybody knows that. Yes, you do. We all do. People aren't used to you saying no, and you'll get pushback, but you have set that pattern. So you have to break that pattern. And it is a very, very hard thing to do at first. You get all shaky and palms are sweaty. But then when you walk away with your self respect intact, that gets to be a pretty good feeling too. And then when you set that pattern And then it becomes easier because you already have your self-respect in place and you're operating from that base instead of trying to convince yourself at the same time that you're worthy. And when that's all new, because you're trying to break your pattern of people pleasing for decades, when you tend to get a little hot under the collar about it. However it is that you're going to come out, it just comes out too strong. And it's just a stage. It's just a stage. And instead of judging yourself, just kind of giggle and go, I could have been a little gentler about that, but I still mean no. A lot of times I found myself when I did that, it's like, oh, well, then I felt guilty about being mean. So then I went back and did it anyway because I was too harsh when I said no, which is just not good, you know? But you'll go through stages of recognizing, and I do believe that the biggest power in your example where, you know, it is the right thing to do. It's not what you want to do, but you do know it is absolutely the right thing to do. So you could live with yourself later. Then we go back over, now we've entered into the realm of I need. Today for you, tomorrow for me, and something will come later that sets that into balance, however that works out. But it wasn't delivered in that, oh, well, if I do this now, something good is going to happen to me later. It wasn't delivered in that, but there's a trusting and a knowing of this is where I am. And truthfully, I would not be able to live with myself if I didn't do it. I understand I don't really want to. I also understand it is the right thing to do. And then there's just the trust it all comes back, but that doesn't even really run through your mind at the time. It's just that's where you are now because you've moved past the pattern of that people pleasing that's really not serving anybody. Yeah.
And the last part of the learning is most difficult part, of course, and that is you have to learn to love yourself. So, because that is all where it started with, is
Mhm.
that you didn't learn that you were enough and that your parents or your caregivers loved you in the way you are, in the way I say it, in the perfect imperfection you are already are. And that is what you have to give yourself. And what I'm thinking now also is perhaps you have to start with it. It's a big process to learn it, but being compassionate with yourself the whole way when you're learning to to come out of this pattern, what we said already, an traumatic pattern as a people pleaser. So is starting to do it with love, to do it with love towards yourself, because nothing of what you are doing comes out of a bad place of you. Everything what you do, the giving what you are doing comes from the right place, but it's not the right thing to do. And that's what you have to learn, that you have to turn it around, and that what you want to receive, that is just, it's love in all its expressions of what love can be. And so, learning to love yourself, and even further, learning to love yourself unconditionally, then you don't need a people pleaser and to be a people pleaser anymore, because you can give yourself the love all the time when you need it. And then you don't need to find love outside yourself because it's already
Mhm.
there. Robin?
I found valuable when I was in that spot to well, I did 2 things. When I did people please, and you walk away and you have that icky feeling after, and you just a little bit mad inside, and, "Nah, I did it again." then explore what exactly was it? Why did I do it? What was I looking for? And how can I give that to myself? That's tough because it took me a while. It's like, well, I don't know how to do that for myself. I want to be appreciated, and you think that comes from somebody else. It doesn't. It comes from you first. If you don't appreciate, nobody around you is going to. You have to appreciate yourself first. And then when I got to where the healthy nose started happening, because there was a lot of soul searching around those defensive no's, but they stayed no's. I was proud of that. I was very proud of that when I started to not back down from my nose. That was a very big, 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 big turning point for me. And then after that, when I started to recognize, oh, I just passed a test. I would have used to in that situation, I would have people pleased. And this time I didn't. And I actually like take a little minute, like in school when you get those little star stickers from your teacher because you did a good job. So I just like take a little minute and give myself a little pat on the back or something and recognize, what did I just give myself? What did I just do? Because that's all part of the trauma healing of what was missing or what did I perceive as missing, and that's what did I file away in my shadow until I had the strength to hold it for myself in my consciousness. And so there's two levels of reward yourself, acknowledge yourself, and you'll start to recognize those feelings when you rest in those feelings longer and longer and longer. That becomes your new base, and it gets really comfortable. And then people pleasing gets really uncomfortable quickly. Yeah.
Okay, so that's about what we want to talk about in this episode about the people pleaser. When you want us talk about something, please put it down in the comments. And when you want to say something else in the comments, it's also very helpful, and we like it, of course. And as Robin has to say now, push the buttons. Push the buttons.
Buttons. All the new ones, all the ones that we don't know what they do. You know what they do, you do them. We need you to do them all.
Yes, please. And also, when you know somebody who our videos are helpful, please send them a link to them. And we appreciate it very much when people like and subscribe. And so for the algorithm, I even don't know that word, but it's
Algorithm.
it's of course very helpful when you would react. Next time we see each other again. Bye bye.
Till next week.